Oh, it's fun, crazy. It's painful, but it's wonderful. What is the name?
It's Reusse Unchained.
All right, Patrick, so your quarterback, Kirk Cousins, comes back to town, and Sam Darnold throws 5 touchdown passes against his team.
Yes, I sent out a tweet about 20 minutes before the game. We got to get rid of that music here pretty soon.
Yeah,
okay,
there you go. There, it's gone now.
About 20 minutes before the game, I sent out a tweet guaranteeing a Viking victory. 38-16 was my prediction. Approximately was going to be, and then of course Kirk goes right down the field and scores a touchdown. And I say, "Don't worry, you still have my personal guarantee." And then they end up winning by 21. So. It's easy to forget that it was 21-21 going into the fourth quarter, you know. But Kirk made enough mistakes, and well, were you surprised that he got booed a little more than you expected at the start of the game, or not? I think it's a different crowd. It's a rowdy, young crowd, and they aren't interested in his politics or his anything else. They just, hey, he's the enemy, so we're gonna boo him.
You know what? I've lived here my whole life. I don't ever know what to expect from fans here sometimes. They boo like who they like and who they don't like and turn on. I can never, I don't know if I can tell you that I can have figured out what their formula is for that.
Yeah, that's, and I could never figure out the formula for why he became what seemingly was popular. I mean, you guys at Purple Daily were dealing with more of that than I ever have, but the fact that suddenly he was Kirk and he's great and fantastic, and meanwhile he was here 6 years, wasting an incredible amount of cap money and winning one playoff game. And I could never quite understand how he turned the crowd around, but I think the Netflix show probably had a lot to do with that too, right?
Oh,
He
God,
came
yeah.
off as this nice family man, and then when Mariotti bailed on him, they only had 2 guys doing it, right? And one was Mahomes, and you got to hear Mahomes' foul mouth, and then you got to hear Cousins as being this nice young family man, blah blah blah. But when push comes to shove, these guys have been geniuses going into this season. The Vikings, they have not made a mistake. And even the guys they're claiming off waivers and playing them, the guy they got from Green Bay off his practice squads out
Vin
there
Davis,
playing, out there playing yesterday. And he's unheard of. We had the king of 7th round draft choices here for years. These guys are signing undrafted free agents who do a hell of a lot more than his 6th and 7th round draft picks. And
You're right.
they got who's out there pro scout. I mean, Ryan Munnins has been with them for 25 years. Are they now listening to them, or do they got new guys finding people? It's pretty amazing.
They have done a marvelous job and I would guess that Flores gets some credit here, right?
Yeah.
He clearly identifies guys on film or something and says that guy is being misused. But if he's used like this, because you're right. I mean, Jalen Redmond the last 2 weeks has been like John Randall.
Yes.
And he was in the XFL about a year and a half ago.
Yes. And they got guys, honest to goodness. I don't sit in front of the TV and watch 3 hours and 10 minutes every week. I kind of watch the highlights. And now yesterday I watched the whole game because of Kirky. But they got guys every other week. They got somebody I never heard of out there making plays. And they do have the cornerback thing is a it's a tough situation for them when they got some of these guys hurt, and they got wily old veterans who can get beat once in a while. But beyond that, they've done wonders defensively and offensively. You take Sam Darnold for $10 million, and now, unfortunately for you, he's probably going to go get 35 someplace. So you can't keep him. So I don't know what teams are saying, we need a veteran quarterback, but he's certainly going to get somebody who's not in a position that it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be the luxurious draft for the quarterbacks that it was last year, right? There's only supposed to be a couple of them that they like,
Yes.
and there's some teams that will be looking around. What? Okay, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If you're San Francisco and you got to play Brock Purdy what he wants, or you can bring back Sam Darnold for 10 million less. What are you gonna do? I
Oh,
don't know.
I would not sign if Purdy's going to get the market contract. I'm
No,
not signing him to it.
no,
No
you
way.
can't. You can't sign him to that kind of a contract. He was a product of. I mean, he was good. He was fine, but
Yeah.
he was a product of a team that was loaded, and
But
then now that's so beat up. But
Pat, that's where this gets to be actually an intriguing discussion too, is like these teams with Shanahan, McVay, O'Connell, right? Do
mhm.
they really need to sign QBs to these monster contracts, or is part of the development, part of the success, the system that they plot these guys into? You know,
Yeah, I
like
don't.
if Darnold goes and plays for like it's not going to happen. But let's just say he went back and played for the Jets now, right?
Mhm.
His career's on track. Is he going to go back to the Jets and be successful now? I don't know that. I don't think so.
Probably not. They're so screwed up. They don't know what's going
Right.
on. Anyway, that would be I would think that his agent and him are way too smart, even if the Jets want to give you
I
some
wouldn't go to
money
the
to go
Giants.
back.
I wouldn't go to the Jets.
No,
I'd go somewhere where there's no tabloids.
yes, I agree with you. That's true. But yeah, it's astounding. I mean, this is by far the most surprising 11-2, but it's not surprising when you watch it. It's
Right.
surprising from where you thought they were in August, but it's not surprising when you watch it. And it's they just and finishers, man, they've been incredible finishers too. So I really find myself I love my whole career to agitate the Vikings and their fans, but there's nothing to get out of them about right now. They've been extremely bright.
You've never
And,
been this high on a Vikings team since I've known you, that I remember.
well, back in
It's
the '70s, you knew they were how great
yeah.
they were, but you couldn't stand the constant praise and that the refs robbed us and blah. Every loss was something. If you were around in the '70s, the worship was nauseating. But this isn't because it's kind of been spontaneous and came out of nowhere. And hey, a month ago there was these stupid rumors that we were going to go get Matt Stafford to try to win. I mean, because Darnold, we
Darnold threw
were
5 picks in 2 games too.
yes.
Like we're
Yeah,
conveniently
I mean,
forgetting.
somebody now. I don't know what moron was floating the Matt Stafford's coming here rumors that they were looking around for him, but that's what it was a month ago, right? 5 weeks ago, 4 or 5
At the
weeks
trade
ago.
deadline, there
Yeah,
was reported, there was talk about it. Yeah, no question.
yeah. I don't think there was talk. I still can't believe it. I mean, is that what you're going to do? You're going to go eat a big contract? The reason you are good
Right.
it's because you got rid of
Well,
Hunter and you got rid of Cousins, and next
yeah.
year you're rid of what $28
Well, and
million
it's why you're not going to
dead.
sign Darnold to a big contract,
No,
because you've proven to yourself that is the way to actually, not necessarily have success.
what if he wins the Super Bowl?
Well, then it's different, but you can franchise him, which is very
Yeah,
expensive, but
that's
it's only
true.
1 year
Yeah, so when you franchise, that becomes the average of the
of the 10
quarterbacks.
of the top. I believe if you give him the exclusive franchise tender, it's the average of the top 5. So it's
Ooh,
expensive as
it's
hell.
55, right?
But it's still
Okay.
only a 1 year issue. It's not a permanent. Kirk's problem was the guarantees into the next year and the next
hmm
year.
What do you think they're finding out about Daniel Jones as he's on the practice squad? They certainly can't be wasting much time watching him in practice late in the season. So I just wonder if if they think that that's the solution, that he can, if if they're not all in on McCarthy to start the season next year, then he can play. I suppose that's still, they would probably be foolish not to stick to what became Plan A, right? Because Plan A here is working pretty good. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And Jones could be gone too. His contract just goes through the end of the season. So I just think that this is a safe haven for him to decompress.
Yeah. Don't you think the Giants, though, aren't the Giants on the hook for incredible amounts of money for
Yeah.
him still?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's really, it's almost depressing for me to have to be this optimistic and blow this much smoke at the Vikings, but there's nothing to criticize. The the
No.
the head coach is great. The defensive coordinators,
This is the problem. You
the
don't even have
defensive
a lightning rod guy like
oh,
PJ.
the defensive coach is fantastic,
Yep.
and you're right. His ability to identify cheap, unwanted players is incredible. That he's putting them all in situations. I mean, we thought we were going to miss Patrick Jones, who none of us had ever heard of anyway, and now they got guys coming in and doing the same thing he was doing. It's pretty incredible. They did have a little 2 week blip when teams were able to run against them, but not
Blake Cashman was
not.
out for both of those games,
Yes,
by the
that's
way, too.
true. Yes, Bland, and I got to admit, I remember seeing Cashman with the Gophers, and I thought he was a good player, but I never thought he was Dick Butkus. Okay, but he's
No.
Dick Butkus. He's the second coming of Dick Butkus in the NFC in our division. It's yeah, it is amazing how what has happened. It's just it's incredible. But as I pointed out, both Kirk and Sam are one game out of first in their division. So what the heck?
You were a tremendous troller last night on Twitter.
On Mr. Soto?
Well, no, just your body of work last night on Twitter
Mm-hmm.
or X. Your tweets were a tremendous troll. Like there was that
Oh,
one.
there, yes.
Like your
And
entire day of work was very successful.
yes, but I actually do think, I've been trolling about him getting all the calls from the officials. They have either come up with a system that prevents penalties that they have benefited. I still can't figure out why they gave him another play on the field goal.
They
What?
said that they said the Atlanta defensive player made an illegal move to try to undercut one of the linemen or blockers, and but they called it a holding, and it wasn't as described. It was not a hold. The best example or the best example I saw explanation I should say, Pat, was in Mark Craig's things. It's like five things.
Yeah.
He explained it pretty well. I didn't even know it was a rule.
And why is it? They got too many rules.
Well,
They got.
I think it's a
rules.
safety rule, but yes, you're not wrong. There's way too many rules.
I mean it is that official, Vinovich or what's his name? The guy, the crew chief.
Oh, yesterday?
He's had some Super Bowls. He's been, Bill Vinovich or some damn thing.
It was
like
Alex
that.
Kemp yesterday.
Oh, really? No,
Yep.
no.
Referee was
no.
Alex Kemp yesterday.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they were trying to be Hakala yesterday. They were inventing some stuff to call. I did feel, but
They didn't call anything for a while, and then once they
No.
started to throw the flags, they didn't stop.
That's kind of a habit of officials in all sports, isn't it? That you kind of let them play. But nothing compares to that system with basketball. That all of a sudden you're watching an NBA game and you're 8 minutes in and there's been 3 fouls, and then somebody blows a whistle, and the next 4 minutes there's 22 fouls. So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
yeah, it's the way it works. But anyway, the Vikings. Now they got the Bears waddling in. The Bears have lost 6 in a row. Is that right?
And the Bears did not get that spark from the coaching change yesterday.
No, they did not. It was they what they put up single digits, 13 or something yesterday. No points yesterday. They got
Against San
killed.
Francisco, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, they are they're a
And
mess.
San Francisco's all beat up, and they still beat them as badly as they wanted to, and
Yeah.
now they're coming in here. When's the last time the Bears beat us in here? Was that Kirk's end of Kirk's first season, or they won
Last
in
season.
here? Oh, last season they won
Yeah,
in here.
the Vikings won in Chicago, and then I think it was a primetime game. It might have been a Monday night game that the Bears came here and won. It was an ugly game.
Oh, really? Can't
Yep.
remember that.
The Bears lost 38-13 to San Francisco yesterday.
Way to go, guys!
That's pretty
They're,
checked out.
Yes, they definitely got to be looking at the rest of this division and say we got some work to do here, and poor Caleb is going to get killed. So
You know who I think the sneaky guy who's screwing things up there is? Our old guy, Kevin Warren.
oh yeah,
It sounds like he's saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, Ryan Poles is going to hire the new coach," and everyone's like, "No, he's not. You are." He always wanted to be in charge of football
he's
things.
he's an egomaniac. There is no doubt about it, and he's he managed to somehow become the Big Ten commissioner and signed the pact that everyone was going to be work together. And 2 weeks later, he stole 4 teams from the Pac-10 and blew up the Pac-12 and blew up. He's he's not the most trustworthy fellow that ever lived, I don't think.
No, and
So,
I also don't think he knows what he's doing in trying to
no,
run personnel moves. You
no,
know?
that would not work out well. But he does. I mean, he supposedly tried it with the Spielman operation here too, and I don't know if he had any
I think they shut him
effect
down.
or not. Yeah, maybe they did. Maybe that's why he ended up landing the Big Ten commissioner's job. So my other big issue today is Judd. I believe you remember the NHL lockout of 2004-05 that
Yep.
wiped out the entire season and basically put the control back in the laps of the ownership.
Yep.
I think we're going to have that after 2006 in Major League Baseball, don't you? I think that
Yes.
they're going to have to take the lockout, and they might have to miss the season to get things
Dare I
under
say it?
control. What?
Dare I say this? Baseball needs it.
Yes, they do. It's out of hand. It's ridiculous. You got you got some crazed owners who don't care. But how would you like to be selling this club right now? 10 minutes after Juan Soto gets 700 and some million, which is more than half of what a franchise is worth in
No.
in a place like Minnesota, and not only more than half, but in Tampa, you could buy the team and build a stadium for that much money,
Mhm.
and it's they're just gonna. I don't know if this guy's the right guy to lead the. They need a hardcore owner to become the head of the baseball negotiations, take the power away from Manfred. And the fact when they let him get away with the Otani deal
Yep.
and not and backload that and not have him pay uh, full tax basically for to share with other team, that was a sure sign of no strength. But I mean, if you're buying the Twins now, right? You can't buy them because you're going to buy them and then not have a season in 2006-07 with no money. But there's no way they're going to have to. The second tier, third tier, fourth tier people, and in Red Sox and teams like even the Red Sox and teams like this outweigh the two or three guys who don't care about money. And I think you got yourself a 2006, 2007, and as strong as that union's been, I think you're going to have to miss the whole year, and you're not going to do it with replacement players. We've found that
No.
out once
No,
in
this
the
will not be
past.
that. This will actually 94 was I thought more about greed and sort of BS.
Yeah.
This to me is necessary. I
Oh
agree.
yeah, you have to do something, and it comes on the heels of a Yankees Dodgers World Series, which reignited the idea that the only thing that counts in baseball is spending money, and that hasn't exactly been true historically, but it might be right now. And yeah, there's I think, is it the owner? Is the thing either expires or the owners have the right to open it up
Open it.
again after
I'll look.
2006. I don't know which one it is, but either way,
2026.
2026. Yeah, 2 more
Okay.
years of this, and
Okay.
I mean, this is the soda thing is, and this was basically just Boris wanting to get a bigger
Yes.
contract, get a more total contract than Otani. Well, it's taking him 5 more years to get that money. So but the fact that it's over 700 is,
Well, and Pat, let's start at 15 years. Forget the money for a second. 15
yeah,
years.
yeah.
You can't have
He'll
a
be
15-year contract. That's
no,
ridiculous.
no, and I mean NHL. Our guy Leopold signed 2 guys to 13-year contracts, and then immediately went to the meeting and said, "We can't be giving away these 13-year contracts anymore."
And
So
they got out of it. I think
yes, they
they had a
are.
shorter work stoppage, but of that came, I believe now if you sign a guy back to your team, it's 8 years, and if you
Hmm.
sign an outside free agent, it's 7 years.
Hmm.
But there's just so many things. Like a cap would also help. A cap, if they put one in place, would get you to also a free agency period where it's just a week. It's two
Yeah.
weeks. And then all
Yes.
the big players are gone. Like this whole thing, baseball, it's nonsense. To your question or your point, the CBA for baseball expires December 1st of 26,
Yeah.
2026.
You're gonna have
You're correct.
yeah. There's no doubt it's gonna be a bloodbath. That's for sure.
It
And
has to be.
I would think. I wouldn't even talk to them if I was the owners now until then. If all they want to talk about is extending the same system. If they don't want to talk to you about some form of a salary cap, and I don't know if it's going to be as hardcore. You got yourself in a situation now that you can't say, okay, the Dodgers and the Yankees the Dodgers and the Mets can't sign anybody because of this.
Right.
So the new situation, but there's, they're going to have to do something. It's and as I said, this is not a great time for the Pohlads to be trying to sell a baseball team.
No.
I would think they will still be the owners 2 years from now. Maybe I'm wrong. And when the lockout comes, it's going to be they're going to. They're just baseball is just going to go away that's a lot of jobs too, right? The minor
Oh,
leagues, that
well,
takes care of the minor leagues too. I would think you're not going to run minor league teams if you're not bringing any
well,
money at the big leagues.
but by locking out players, the important thing there too is, and this is where football's always had the ultimate trump card. You've got so many guys who need the paychecks and have families and
Hmm.
wives that the
Yeah.
pushback becomes so immense that the upper class is told, bleep this, we
Hmm.
need to play. So like that's your hope. But
Hmm.
and then, cuz like to go back a week, whether it's true or not, like this whole okay, if you put the golden at bat in and have Otani bat,
Yeah.
all this is nonsense.
Yes, it is. It's
You
it's it,
need to
it's
have a
grandma.
structure. You are not all of a sudden going to get a huge amount of fans who want to watch your product because there's the golden
The
at bat.
golden at bat. Yeah.
Yes.
This is this is a you can't have the Tampa Bay Rays playing in George Steinbrenner's minor league ballpark, competing with you know teams that have
Yes.
$700 million players. It's I've always kind of defended baseball that, well, it's not, there's still been 20 there's still been more different baseball franchises to win a World Series in this century than there's been football teams to win a Super Bowl. But now it's gone. It's out of control completely. And the funny thing is the NBA was always the most imbalanced league of all, right? And
Hmm.
they've kind of gotten their house in order now here a little bit, and maybe you do the same. Maybe you do the same type of system that the NBA has, which is when you get to a certain high level point, you're taxed so severely, and what you can do is pretty much wiped out. And so all of a sudden,
Yeah.
if you're the Yankees if you're the Dodgers and the Mets or something, you can't bid on international free agent. You cannot be in the market or something like,
Yeah.
there's gotta be a punishment for this. And Manfred obviously isn't the guy to do it because he's just out talking nonsense. So
Yep.
now when he was a union guy, he was able to make some settlements that we thought made sense, but they no longer make sense anymore. And with the whole feedback from a Yankees Dodgers series, which should have been, you know, in the past was a celebration of baseball, and this was and the general reaction was just depends upon how much money you're spending. So
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the Twins are just one of several teams that there's no hope. Like if you're a fan, there's no real hope. Like they're going to go to Dallas this week, and the Twins are going to do probably nothing.
Yes.
And what fun is that if you're a fan, you know? And the Twins thing too, and this is now going to be a growing problem with teams like them, Pat, is so their whole new TV platform is, direct to consumer. You buy it from us, and well, that's an uphill climb to start with.
Yes.
What is the incentive right now if I come to you and say, even for $20 a month, you can watch our games, and you got the Wolves, you got the Wild, right? Are you going to
Yeah.
say, yeah, you know what? I'm in for 100 something bucks to watch games of a team where I think there's no hope for them?
Yeah, to a degree, yeah, that's true. I mean, you do have the whole exotic playoff system now with 6 teams going in, and you can, if they hadn't gone on fell on their ass this year, they could have been in the playoffs. But still, you're not.
Yeah.
You look around now and you're saying that this guy Soto is going to be making 40% of your entire payroll.
Yeah.
And he's just another player for the Mets because they got some goofy owner. It's baseball is
And the
they are
base,
facing they might as well. They don't want to announce it yet because they're going to have enough feedback that people will stop coming to the ballpark early. But by the middle of next season, we will be getting strong hints that there's a lockout coming. So
I've always thought though one of the greatest things about baseball, partially because of the time of year it starts, is anticipation, right? Like
yes,
your team's done this, and now it's opening day, and again, yeah, the Twins can make the playoffs, but they basically are according to them. There's probably a better chance that they're going to have to dump players to get back to the payroll that they were at a year ago or last season than add anything of substance. So
yeah,
it's not much
that's
fun.
true. I mean, it's they've been sliding along, and then all of a sudden they got some lunatics figuring out. And as I said, to repeat, Manfred letting them get away with the Otani deal
Yeah.
was they thought, okay, this is great for our business in Japan and blah blah blah. It's great for the Dodgers. It's not great for anybody else. And by the way, there's another Japan pitcher coming that's going to sign with the Dodgers, right? Sasaki or something like
Yeah.
that. The next good one, and he's also looking at the Dodgers. Well, 2 years from now, you got to start punishing these teams, and there's going to be there's the 2026, 27, no baseball is my prediction. And you know what you might have to do? You might have to hire Gary Bettman away from the NHL and let him be the commissioner. Even the bad mouth Gary Bettman.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Now,
Gary's my favorite. You know that.
but was a lot easier. It was a lot easier to beat the hockey agents
Yes.
than it's going to be to beat Boris and those guys. But you're going to have to beat them. You're gonna, you just got to. You basically just got to shut it down and say,
Yes.
"Come and come and talk to us when you're ready to talk, or not, or we're just not going to play."
You
You
have to
know.
leave players financially panicked, which there
Yes.
would be a lot. Like it's
Yes.
not, that's the thing is because the panic that exists within the players then permeates the rest of, that sport. So, but I'm with you.
Mhm.
I think baseball unfortunately needs it, and I think it would come back a better game.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got to. It doesn't have to be as equal as the NHL and NFL are right now, but it's got to be there's got to be some common sense here. I mean, you can't. We've honored the Tampa Bay Rays for years for getting by with a $35 million payroll. Well, those days are over. They were up. I think they were at their all-time high this year, which was like 80 or 90, and they had no chance. So
Yeah,
yeah, the
no,
the
you're right.
fact that you use the opener better than other teams is not going to make a difference. And then to have this guy out instead of sounding alarms, saying, "Oh yeah, we can come up with a system where Otani can bat twice in the same inning," is
Yeah,
he's the baseball commissioner who doesn't like baseball. So
yeah. Well, and
anyway,
the solutions that they keep trying to come up with are short term
no,
sugar
yeah,
highs. They're nothing
yeah.
to do with
By
the
that,
actual
by the end, you
health.
got to have like the NBA, a two-tiered salary cap that
Yeah,
makes that
you're right.
if you're in the first apron, you're getting punished. If you're in the second apron, you're screwed. And that's what they got to come up with. They got to basically have the
Yeah,
same system as the fact the NBA now the NBA is still paying guys so damn much money that because you got that short roster,
right.
and the TV money's coming in. But baseball's got to look around and what are you going to do with this regional network? You got to go to the owners and say, listen, we have lost. The Twins are going from
This is it.
2 years ago, 50 some $1 million to maybe five next year if they're lucky for
It won't be
regional
five.
TV. It won't be five
The
if they're
Padres was
lucky.
at 4 million this season.
Yes, and they
They
drew
were
three
like fifth in
million.
baseball in attendance, Pat.
They were drew 3 million people. They were sold out every game, and they did $4 million. So
Yeah, yeah. No,
it's a crisis. It's a
yes,
crisis, and
yes, yeah. No, it's disturbing, but I agree. And then when you come back, like the what you're talking about with hockey, then if you want to make some tweaks and rules and stuff, just that can be talked about. But yes, this is a crisis that starts with the actual health of the game and does not have to do with Carlos Correa batting in the ninth for the Twins when the 9 guy was due up. It's
yeah, yeah. You're right, and let's face it. 2 years from now, when the lockout comes, baseball fans will have lost another 10% of their audience to the mortuary. So they got to do something. They now have a stat that more young people watched baseball last year than. That's probably because there's more young people. Okay, so
right. No,
I
you're
don't
right.
buy it. I don't
You're right.
buy it. They watch videos of baseball. That's
Right.
all they watch.
They
So.
watch TikTok and
Mhm.
Instagram highlights of baseball. No, you're right.
Okay.
College
Yes.
football playoff. 12 teams,
I
chaos. What do you think?
how did James Franklin become the commissioner of the CFP? Penn State. They get SMU in the first round at home, and then they get to play Boise State if they win.
Yeah.
What kind of an idiot? And here's the other thing. You're given the conference champions. You know what Boise State should deserve for being a conference champion? The right to be in the field. That's all.
Arizona State
Yeah,
too.
Arizona
A
State.
bye is
Yes,
ridiculous.
yes, yeah. They both get buys, and they're seeded. The seeding was ninth and 12th but they
Yeah.
get buys in the first round because
Yeah,
of
stupid.
it's the whole thing is stupid. And I don't know. They're probably going to end up with 16 in a couple of years, right? But that'll
I love
just
the idea, but I would not. Why are these conference champions who, to your point, are lucky to be in the thing,
yes, getting buys.
and they could get blown out?
Hmm.
So that's second round games that won't be as like that's the only thing to me that makes no sense.
The Indiana coach, who's quite the talker, had a whole. Did you see his big
Yes.
spiel on this? Well,
Yes.
buddy, you had the easiest schedule in the country, and the time you played Ohio State, you got beat bloody. You should be, they were one blip from not being in it, so they should be happy. They get to play Indiana, they get to play Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not invincible, so he wants a home game against Notre Dame. Well, their stadium holds 30,000 more people than yours, so they're not gonna give you a home game. So I don't know. It's an improvement, but what it means, I don't know. Meanwhile, we get to go to the Mayo Bowl, so that's
Why
good.
are we still playing all these damn bowl? I know it's
I
for
don't
TV,
know.
but what are we doing? We don't need all these bowls anymore. Just send
No,
teams home.
no. Now I didn't realize that. So all the six bowls that were the Peach somehow got in there because of Atlanta as one of the key the bowl, and the Cotton got back in there because of Texas. But the I think the Rose Bowl is still going to be able to be played on January 1st, tied in, with the parade. But the others are all going to be like the Orange Bowl this year, which used to be a big New Year's thing, right? Or
Yep.
New Year's Eve is now January 9th or
Oh
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. That's been moved around
Yeah.
for a while.
But the other thing is you're adding 4 games for college team. You're gonna, and they already played might have played the conference championship game. They're playing 17 game schedules. They should get paid.
Yes, they should.
They're gonna get
It's a
paid.
pro sport.
When Murray went to the Rose Bowl, I think we were up to 10 games then. Were we up to 10? We might have. No,
I
I
don't know.
think they finished 8-2. It was a 9 game season. I'm not saying we should go back to a 9 game season, but because of the playoff and because everybody gets to go to a bowl game, there'd be nothing wrong with cutting a game out of the regular season. We do not have to play Lindenwood here in 2 years, do we? Really? We can get
I,
rid of those. Shouldn't there be some standard applied? If you're choosing teams for your playoff, they should take strength of schedule of the non-conference games and punish teams that don't play anybody. You know,
sure, sure.
that's it's ridiculous. Speaking of not playing anybody,
Yeah.
Dawn Plitzowite and the Gopher women's team
Oh,
didn't play anybody to go 10 and
I
0,
read
and
your
they went
column.
went down to Nebraska and stunk. So even Big Happy Kent wasn't too kind to him, and he wasn't down there, but he had to write the gamer today, and he wasn't real kind. But Dawn she's tough, man. She's not she doesn't like to BS with reporters, like who she doesn't, at least reporters she doesn't know. So
I
I can
loved
tell
the
you
lead to
that.
your column that you went to try to watch a game and then go to the post game,
Yes.
and it was so bad. I think that was
Oh,
my favorite part of your column.
yes. Well, you should have seen it. North Florida, honest
What?
to God, they couldn't beat Benilde. It was unbelievable. They were so rotten. It was 33-6 at the quarter.
It was great.
33-6 at the quarter. This is who you're playing to get ready for the Big Ten. I don't get it, but
Well, we haven't talked a lot about this, but the again loss of what Maura Braun,
yes,
that's
yeah,
gonna derail them.
yeah. She's their best player, and now they did not look terribly athletic, even bursting to a 33-6 lead against the Ospreys, who were. What a surprise! I thought my insults to Ospreys were severe enough that somebody might protest, but nobody read it. I'm
Well, there's
sure.
time.
Yeah, there
There's
is.
time
But
for it to get out.
anyway, yeah, it was awful, and I didn't. Were they on TV someplace yesterday? I tried to find them, but I couldn't find them. But
That I don't know.
they were brutal, I guess. So
Yeah, couldn't
anyway,
shoot. I saw.
yes, yeah. Oh,
I got
yeah.
a text from a guy.
The battle girl, the Amaya battle was
Battle.
1 for 15. That isn't good. 1 for 15 is not good.
Mm-mm.
Meanwhile, poor Ben gets to play Indiana tonight, which is huge up front.
My morning paper is trying to paint a positive view of the point guard being back for 3-point shooting.
Yeah, I think didn't
Mitchell.
he play? I thought he played the last game. Didn't he play?
I think he did.
Played
Yeah.
against. He played some.
I'm just telling you what I saw in my morning paper.
Yeah. Marcus is hanging in there trying, but oh man, this is
Mike Mitchell, right?
Mike.
Because there's
Mitchell,
Frank. There's Frank is the
Junior.
big.
Frank is the guy who should be playing left tackle for somebody.
yeah.
He's out there running around.
Yeah.
It's
Mike
I'll
Mitchell
tell
Jr.
you what we had the lack of interest in hockey, and now that's gone, and you're back because you're one of the best teams in the country. But I don't know how they're ever going to get them back over at the big old barn. And God, is that an awful place to be when there's nobody there?
Oh yeah. Well,
When there's
the hockey thing was funny because it was for I mean there were a few factors there, right? But the team was
but the
never
worst
bad.
was, but the team wasn't terrible,
Right.
And they weren't the national power, but we were mad because they were playing Michigan and Michigan State instead
Right.
of St. Cloud State and
Well, and tickets are
Bemidji.
and they charge a lot.
Oh yeah, they do.
They charge a lot. But
Well,
now
that's the Norwood. That's the Norwood
Yes.
ticket service thing. But the students are back, and that's that. You and I were there Friday,
Yes.
and that was. Did you go again Saturday?
I didn't, but I guess it was great. I guess it
Yeah.
was a really good
Yeah,
crowd.
closer game, and yeah, I exchanged text with Motzko, and he said that's as good as the crowds have been for 2 nights in a row there at. And Michigan's now your rival, basically.
Yes. Well, and they were if you watch that game on Saturday, it got chippy.
Chippy. Well, it
That was a
got
cheap
chippy
shot
at
on
the end.
Snuggerud.
They got chippy at
You're
the
right.
end of the run. They ran Snuggerud. The guy who ran Snuggerud's got to be gone for at least 2 weeks, doesn't he?
But he should get suspended, yeah. Well, he ran him, he cross-checked him, and then he continued to hit him
Yes.
when he was down.
Yeah. Well, we got to hear the Michigan players before the game, and
They were loud. They were very
got to
vocal
hear
with
the
ref bombs.
screaming profanities over there, and it demonstrated to me it wasn't a high class group. I think it's okay for you to be in the locker room screaming profanities
Yep.
with the door shut, but I don't think you should be out in an open arena.
The problem too is they stopped in front of a concession stand with probably volunteers from like a
Yes.
Cub Scout group
Yeah,
and are
yeah, right.
spewing F-bombs
Right,
like it's
right.
going out of style.
You got 75-year-old women there who are selling hot dogs so their church group can have more money, and you're screaming words that they've never heard in their lives, for God's sake.
I would like to say though that I before I went to the game on Friday, I looked at the notes that included questions from you at the Motzko midweek presser in which he was complaining about his team start. So after
Yeah.
that fantastic start on Friday, I made sure to ask about how pleased he
Yes,
was, and I was told that was a narrative that came from you
Yes,
bozos.
yeah, from us. And
So thanks a lot for that.
I don't think he liked it when I called him out. I said, I was here Wednesday, Bob. You were talking about it. So,
Well, I don't think he liked it when you started cackling too when he shot back at my question. All of a sudden, I hear the Reusse.
he was in a bad mood after Friday's game, though, because
Yes.
I thought Chesley was gone, but he apparently was just a game misconduct, not a disqualification. But
Hughlin, though.
somebody Hughlin got hurt, but somebody told me they also took a shot at Coster at the end of the game. And he
Oh.
thought they were trying to hurt him. And
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, they're good though. Oof, they're Jimmy Snuggerud doesn't belong in this league, but it's good to have him. Man, he can shoot the puck. Whew.
Yeah, and it looks like they have 2 goalies.
Yeah, right. Then
The kid from Penn State came back came in on Saturday. He was fabulous. Or they would have been down 3-0 in the first period.
I did. I did ask him that, and he said at St. Cloud he alternated goalies once, but mostly since he's gotten here, he's had the one guy who, and then somebody else might have paid 5 or 6 games. It's funny though, goalies. Remember the one that 2 years ago they only had Close, and they were
Yep.
the kid that they got come on juniors that came in at mid-season, and they, he was going to be the future, and I don't know what happened to him. He's not around anymore. So he was like a kid with a long name. I can't remember what it was,
What
but he
was the
was,
year that LaFontaine was their starter,
yes.
and then
And then
Carolina
he
signed
left.
him, and Close
Yeah.
came in and was
In
great.
January. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Close had been around, and Close was, Close had to be 25 when his career ended here. I mean, he was here forever, but
it's college hockey. You can be
yeah,
any
it
age.
is. Yes. It's kind of like, you know, football. Football is now, we finally got rid of the COVID year, right? There's nobody still around who's getting the extra year from COVID. Is it finally, this is the last year of
I
it?
don't know. I hope so.
It's gotta be.
I'm tired of
Gotta be.
29-year-olds punting.
Yes, the St. John's kid that I wrote about, Marcelio Mendez, and by the way, they got beat at home 41-38. Was it 41 or 38-35, whatever it was? They got beat by Susquehanna. But he was telling me he got out of Cretin Durham Hall in 2001. You know, he graduated in the spring. He says, this is my last year. And there's guys who've been here who got out of high school 2 years before me who still have a year of eligibility left, you know. So it's been a weird time for college, and nothing weirder than Parker Fox being out there in year 8. So unbelievable.
And the St. John's quarterback is done now, right?
Yes. He was at Colorado State, red shirt, and then COVID. And then so he came here, he had 4 years left. He announced Syverson. But the St. John's has got to feel bad because they had Jackson Erdman as their quarterback for 4 years. It was phenomenal. Ended up and being the MVP of the European League, and then they had Syverson for 4 years, and never got. They only got to the semis once, and they never got to the Stag Bowl. And they might be pretty good at quarterback in the future, but they'll never be better than they were with these 8 years with those two guys. So
Wow.
anyway.
That's interesting.
Bethel, meanwhile, still alive. So, and they're good. Bethel's
And
good.
Mankato
So,
still alive,
and
right?
Mankato, they pulled out another victory. Now they're going to Valdosta, which has got tons of D1 style athletes. So we'll see. But if he pulls out another one, this is definitely Hoffner's greatest run because first
He
time
must be
they've
a
been
good coach.
yeah, he's fine. Yeah, first time they've been underdogs, and you know I think they lost 3 in the conference. They lost the last week of the season.
Yep.
They kind of got put in, and now they pulled out 3 straight wins. So anyway, all righty. Well, we agree on baseball. We're heading
Yeah, it's
for
a mess.
disaster, 2006 and 7, and it is, as I continue to say on Twitter. You know, it's too bad we couldn't get in on the Soto sweepstakes, but that right field fence, man, it's too deep. And
That's what your sources told you, right?
yeah, my sources keep telling me that.
Did
And congratulations to the 5 or 6 or 7 people who went for it. Okay, who've
Speaking of
gone for
fences,
it.
did you see the Orioles are again now going to move in the fence at Camden Yards after they just moved it out a couple of years ago?
Really?
The left field fence is now being moved closer because so many people bitched about the fact they moved it too far out, which also created one of the stupidest things in baseball, which was
the sidewall.
the sidewall. Yes.
I'm still surprised nobody's got killed. So we're gonna still have a sidewall, but it's not gonna be as far out, or no?
I don't know if there's going to be now
Are
or
they
if
going back to the pop fly home runs?
I don't
and
know.
left
I don't
field
think
then?
so. So there probably still will be. But they should just fix the whole damn thing.
Yes, Chris Davis. You ended up paying Chris Davis a lot of money because of those pop fly home runs.
Tyler
to left
O'Neill
field.
signed there on Saturday, and I think it's partially because that wall is coming in. Because I doubt, if I'm not mistaken, he is a right-handed bat. I don't think he signs there if that wall is still that far out.
No, it was, but you know, it's the ownership there has always been a little shaky. And the Angeles boys are
It got sold though.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
He
And
sold
a
it.
Baltimore guy. That's right. A
The
Baltimore
kid
guy.
sold it all really quickly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he
So
might have saw this coming.
before you
Anyway,
go,
enjoy the new
no,
wall.
sell me a
Enjoy the
car.
new enjoy the new wall for 2 years until we get the lockout. Hey, I just checked. Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers, Apple Valley and Hastings. We got 188 vehicles available right now in Apple Valley. If you go to the website, valleyofapplevalley.com, you'll get to look at all of them. Yukon Denali, I found 8,000 off right now. Buick Enclave, 9,700 off. These Invistas, they're sedan. They are going very good prices there. And this is all good through the December. You know, December right now is the time to buy cars, and because we're trying to move them, so we got room for the new ones. So Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers, low interest rates. If you qualify, there's some zero interest rates for some of these vehicles, some 0.9, some 1.9. The Hummer EV, 60 months, zero interest, 60 months
Sounds like
you
a
can
Reusse
pay
car to
off.
me.
Hummer UV. I'd look good at Hummer UV, wouldn't I?
Just
EV, not UV.
EV,
EV.
UV.
Yeah,
You'd be cutting
electric
through the
vehicle.
snow.
Me and a Hummer, that'd be fantastic. Anyway, Jim Paul and Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers. Go to the website, valleyofapplevalley.com. You will find a vehicle there at your price, and then go out and pick it up before the holidays. And I looked up the Invista when you got the granddaughter about to turn 16,
Wow.
and the big thing is, will the hockey sticks fit in the Invista? Yeah, you can put the seat down up, and the half the seat in front, it'll fit right in there. And the prices on the Invistas right now are incredible. Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers, Apple Valley and Hastings.
All right, sir.
All righty.
Talk to you tomorrow. More Unchained.
All
See you
right.
then.
See you
All right.
later.
See you,
Goodbye.
Pat. Bye.